Noles All Access is brought to you by the energy-saving conservation programs of Tico People's Gas. Real Coca-Cola taste with 0 sugar and 0 calories. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling. Welcome to Noles All Access, where we take you inside Florida State athletics. I'm Jay Sutton, and today we'll talk with head coach Leonard Hamilton to recap the wins against Virginia Tech and North Carolina. Then we'll take a look at the journeys of 3 coaches who once wore the garnet and gold as student athletes. And later, we'll go to the softball batting cages with head coach Lonnie Alameda. All that and much more is up ahead on Noles All Access. All right, Coach, there's a new streak at Florida State. You all are now on a 2-game win streak. And we'll talk about the one against Virginia Tech first, because I feel like that's a game that you all pretty much beat them at their own game. You shot well from deep, you moved the ball well, didn't turn the ball over a lot. I think you had under 10, that's something that they like to do. And you played well defensively, defending the 3. I think they shot 23%. So was that the plan going into the game, to kind of beat them at their own game?
You know, when you go into a game, you have basic things that you try to concentrate on or emphasize with your players. And obviously, defending that team's strength will be one of your, the things that you point to. They are an excellent 3-point shooting team, and they take a lot of threes. So I was pleased with our ability to concentrate and make sure we were there on the catch. But what happens when you play against people who shoot a lot of threes, they get the threes because they do a great job of penetrating and getting in the lane and causing the defense to collapse in the kick out. So what we did is a better job containing the dribble that didn't allow them to get the kick out jumpers. I mean, there's some statistic that Coach C. Wise always talked to our guys about, that the highest perimeter shot is a kick-out jumper, that's uncontested. And so the fact that we were able to contain the dribble eliminated us from having to help so much, and they didn't get nearly as many threes. And then the ones that they did get, we contested. Secondly, when people who shoot a lot of threes really execute the fundamental of ball movement, and we did a good job of getting our hands on the passing line. That's the line between the passer and the receiver. And so we forced them, when your hands on the passing line, you force the team to step out a little bit farther out of their shooting range, and all that kind of worked together for us.
Yeah, and y'all did great defensively, as you mentioned, and how you broke that down. But offensively, I know that y'all do everything by committee, but Devin Purcell definitely led that committee against Virginia Tech. 7 for 7 for 3, 27 points, a new career high. What can you say about Devin that hasn't already been said?
Well, I think Devin recognizes the fact that maybe that Polite wasn't totally 100% healthy on top of his game, and he recognized he had to step it up a little bit. Also, I thought Trent recognized the fact that Devin was shooting the ball very well, and he made a consistent and concerted effort to get him as many open looks as possible. I thought we had great ball movement, great ball reversal, and we were moving the ball a little faster than their defense, and it gave us an opportunity, to get a very, very important victory. And if you notice, most of the games in the ACC are closely contested, and going on the road and getting a victory regardless of who you're playing against or where they're ranked in the season is very, very important.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit, because you all returned home to face North Carolina. And that was a rough game for a little while. I think that they switched it up defensively, showed y'all something differently that y'all hadn't seen in recent games. But I think it was you all's effort defensively that was the deciding factor in the game. I think they went 0 for 17 during the stretch in that game. Would you agree that it was the defense that was the deciding factor?
I think it was a combination of both. I think Carolina plays a different style of defense than Virginia Tech, and Miami. So we played against 4 games against teams that use a different type of defensive philosophy. And so now you get Carolina, and they are similar to Florida State in terms of their aggressiveness and getting out in the passing lane. And I thought that really was a little unsettling to us. And plus they had one of the top 4 or 5 draft pick back, and the ball was in his hand, and he's a handful. So at the end of the day, we had spurts. The game went in spurts. They had their spurt, we had ours. But I think at the end of the day, I would agree with you that our defense really gave us bought us enough time that we could get in rhythm offensively. And then we had a variety of other guys that stepped up and made plays for us.
And let's talk about one of those guys, Coach, because you have a young man on your team that just so happens to be from North Carolina, and he had one of his breakout games against Carolina. How special was that for him to have that kind of game on that big stage?
Well, two things that is happening with Patrick. Patrick is just growing and maturing and feeling more and more at ease and relaxed in our system, offensively, defensively, rebounding, running the floor. Sometimes I think the general public does not realize that it's an adjustment when you go from high school to college. And he's been going through the adjustment period. He's such an unselfish youngster. He's a team guy, great teammate, and he's very conscious of all the things that are going on around him. But now that he's more and more confident, that he knows and he has a different body language, his demeanor, his facial expressions, his ability to communicate with his teammates, he's sure of himself, and I thought he really played well in this particular game. And I also think it probably was a little bit of motivation, the fact that he was playing against a team from his home state, and it all kind of came together for him, and I was really pleased to see him go out and perform well. I wish that we had him, though, at Virginia.
Well, Coach, we love to see his confidence growing. And we go from facing one blue blood to another one in Duke coming up. So we'll talk about that matchup as well as the matchup against Miami a little later in the show. So stick around for that and much more coming up on Noles All Access. Coming up, these former student athletes carry on the unconquered legacy as coaches at Florida State.
He's All-American nose guard Odell Haggins.
Good pass that time, and the kill put away by Jordana Fox.
Man to Wyckoff. Wyckoff will take the long three. She's going to get the ball through, drop in from NBA land for White.
Florida State athletics has left its mark on collegiate sports since its beginnings. The teams are represented by the Seminole head and the student athletes who proudly wear the garnet and gold.
Being a Seminole means everything. It's home, it's family, it's pride, it's fun, it's all of those things. I mean, it's become that for me. It's a huge part of who I am, and I love every single day that I get to not only be a Seminole, but be a part of what's going on at Florida State.
But who are the student athletes behind the jersey number? And how have they given back to Florida State since their time as student athletes?
Honestly, I'm a very mean guy. I don't take no jump from nobody.
I knew at one point I wanted to be a coach here at Florida State, but I didn't know how to get into it. But Coach Bowden just came to me one day and just started talking to me about it. I guess he saw something in me at that time I didn't see in myself.
He's kind of a natural-born leader. Odell has always been that way ever since I've known him. He's been one of those guys that says, "Come on, gang, let's go." That's his nature.
Day in and day out, these coaches strive to take their teams to the next level, shaping the athletes to be the best Seminoles they can be.
I want your focus to be getting your shoulders squared, and I want you sealing as you're coming up, and then pushing the ball so we're strong with our core. We got it? Yes. Ready, right, go. Ready, and up. Yes, nice. Good.
Jordana is probably one of the biggest Florida State volleyball fans ever. She just bleeds garnet and gold, and she's upheld the tradition of garnet and gold here, and we do our best to keep that going throughout, so it does help a lot.
From then to now, these coaches remain truly proud to be a Seminole.
Gosh, I think it means to live your life in a way that you want to be unconquered. Like, you want to be successful. Like, you just have this like heart and fight in you that's like the unconquered Seminoles. Like, we're not going to go down easy, and if anything, like, you're going to see our heart and our fight and our fire. That to me is what it means to be a Seminole.
Well, I feel like Florida State for 31 years, and it means a lot, you know, representing my school and, you know, this brand on my chest, and it means a lot to me. And that's one of the reasons why I've never taken another job at another place, but it means a lot to me.
But what is it about their job that they love most?
Well, mentoring these young men, making sure they grow in every aspects of their lives, and to me that's very important. Football's going to be there.
The retired jersey and all the stuff that's happened before is nice, but I rarely think about it because having a chance to be around players that also chose Florida State, just like me, we have that in common, and I just really love watching them go through the same process I did all those years ago and grow into amazing women of character.
Because of their dedication, Florida State Athletics continues to be recognized as a talented program for student athletes to become a part of the unconquered Seminole family. I'm Allie Rubenstein for Noles All Access.
If the team do well, I do well. You know what I'm talking about?
Coming up, we'll get an inside look at the softball batting cages.
What's up, Seminoles? I'm Alexandra DiCapua, here to bring you a look at what's coming up for Florida State Athletics. Today, the men's basketball team is looking to defeat the Miami Hurricanes for the second time this season. Tip-off is at noon at the Donald L. Tucker Center. Then on Monday, the Noles hit the road to Durham, North Carolina, where they plan to avenge last year's tough losses to the Duke Blue Devils. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Now over to baseball. Fan Day begins at 2:30 at Dick Howser Stadium. Come prepared to take pictures and get autographs from your favorite players and meet our new head coach, Mike Martin Jr. And the Florida State softball season is officially underway. The Noles are hosting the Joanne Graff Classic, which kicked off on Friday. Florida State will face Detroit Mercy at 1 o'clock and 5th-ranked Alabama at 3. On Sunday, the women's basketball team will continue ACC conference play against Virginia. The game begins at 12 o'clock in the Donald L. Tucker Center. Make sure to tune in or head out and support all your favorite Seminole sports teams. I'm Alexandra DiCapua for Noles All Access.
Ugh, stop it. It's nice right there. Nice. Change up into ready. That was very nice. It's good. Good. Same thing too. Boom. Like we're gonna get to the point where everything comes here and then it's rise drop change from here, right? Versus trying to get everything back here. Yeah, good. Do you feel that pinky? That's such a dirty pitch for you. Yeah. Good. Let it go. Good.
You've taken 408. Nice. Hey, this machine will tell us exactly how many you've taken. $75 is the magic number. 262. There's your leader on the day right there. When I say leader, I mean it. Besides me, that's the leader. 292. Oh yeah, that's ready.
Good. Yep. That's good. It's just when I start, I don't want to be out this way, so when I come back, I'm offline, right? I want my feet to be, boom, like a sprinter start here. But I start to do this, or I start to do that, I lose a little bit of this back here. Yep. Good. Good.
Coming up, we'll preview the upcoming matchups against Miami and Duke. The Look Ahead is presented by Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Register to win the ultimate fan experience at NolesContest.com. All right, Coach, the last time you all faced Miami, you were able to pick up a win in overtime at their house. Now they're coming here, but since that last matchup, they lost 4 of their last 5 games. They struggled a little bit, but due in part to Chris Lights dealing with injury, they've been without him. So what should we look for in this matchup this time around?
Well, in reality, surprisingly, they have played very well and might even play as well or better with the 2 guys being injured. The offense seems to flow a lot better. They're getting more guys involved. Different guys are stepping up. I've been very impressed with Miami. They had some tough spots in games where they've been overwhelmed, Duke being one of them. But in reality, they are really playing pretty good basketball. They are really seem to be coming together and inspired a little bit and motivated because they seem to be a little short-handed. And if you look around the league, that seems to be happening everywhere. One guy goes out, another guy steps in, and what you thought would be a game that would be decided easily seems to be now a traditional ACC dogfight. Regardless, I mean, when you look around the league and look at the scores and look at the way the game's played, the majority of the game's in doubt, and at the end somebody takes a little spurt and gets ahead. That's normally the way it goes, in Miami been playing some of those games.
So you're telling fans they can pretty much bet on another ACC blowout? Wow,
you know, we would love to have a comfortable victory, but at this stage of the season, we'll take a half a point victory if that thing is available.
Half a point, remember that. Okay, so let's fast forward. Let's talk about Duke, because you all go up on the road, head to Durham, North Carolina, and face them after Miami. And when you talk about teams with rich traditions, Duke has to be toward the top of the list. So what are some keys to victory if you're going to pull out a win at Cameron?
Well, to be very honest with you, most coaches don't ever talk that far ahead. They deal with the next game. But I think Duke's reputation speaks for itself. We know what we're up against. And as coaches, we don't look too far ahead. But there's no doubt that we got to be at our best because we know they're going to be at their best. And that's the nature of the ACC. And at this stage of the year, we all are familiar with each other. We all have done statistical analyses. We know everyone's tendencies. They know our system. We know their system. And so it's not a whole lot that we are suspicious about. So it boils down to this sound fundamental basketball and making sure that you're playing within who you are. You know, you play your strengths, try to stay away from your weaknesses, and you try to minimize your opponent's strength and try to push them towards some of their weaknesses. And that's the nature of the game, and it's a simple formula. It's just a really hard-fought game. Somebody's gonna lose and someone's gonna win. You cut your turnovers down, you defend, play hard, play unselfish, and defend. That gives yourself a chance.
And Coach, I know you say you don't like to look too far ahead, but it is you always say that the next game is the most important game. So this is the next game after that game. and with the race being so toward the top of the ACC, how much more important does that make that matchup?
Well, the thing of it is, you know, every game is an opportunity for you to move yourself a step closer to competing for the championship. And what you do, you just don't put those types of pressures on yourself. You worry about those things you can control. You just concentrate on being who you are. You want to be the best Florida State team you can be. Now, whatever comes, if you start trying to look down the road and worry about something that you can't control, you can't worry about Tuesday on Wednesday. You know what I mean? You can't worry about Wednesday on Tuesday. You just got to take it one day at a time. And if you prepare yourself well, then that gives you a level of confidence going to the game, you know, that you're going to give yourself the best opportunity. And that's the way we look at it. It's for the fans and for media, it's good to talk about those what ifs and those different scenarios. But as a coach and as a player, you can't do anything but worry about those things that you can control, preparing yourself the best, and then go in and give the best effort, and let's see what happens.
So you're saying I shouldn't worry about my hair growing back?
Absolutely not. It's not going to happen.
Can't control it, just let it go, right?
No, just go ahead and try to go with the flow. I have a great razor for you.
Okay.
To recommend to you.
Okay.
Make it shine up a little bit.
I appreciate that. We'll talk about that a little bit after the show. Well, thanks, Coach, and hopefully next time we meet, you'll have a couple of half-point victories, as you like to say, right?
Hey, I'll be very happy as long as it's in the W column.
All right, there you go. For Coach Hamilton, I'm Jay Sutton, and we'll see you next week on Noles All Access. Noles All Access is brought to you by the energy-saving conservation programs of Tico People's Gas. Real Coca-Cola taste with 0 sugar and 0 calories. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Taste the feeling.